Now, today I want to talk with you about data quality in every angle. Data quality is not really a new subject. Every angle already exists for 20 years, and for 20 years you can already use every angle for data quality checks. But we saw that there are quite a lot of questions coming to us the last few years on data quality. So we decided to group that into a solution. Now, I first want to talk with you about why would data quality be interesting for you to focus on. Now, there are several areas which could be impacted because of data quality. Now, an example is process efficiency. For example, in your material master, if your lead time is incorrectly set up, your planned lead time, then when the MRP runs, you have to do work manually afterwards to correct those settings, so to correct when a certain good is ordered. That is more work for the people in operations. Now, another reason to focus on data quality is commercial use. For example, your customers, if you want to know how many you sold to a certain customer, but if that customer is duplicate in your system, it's difficult to get an overview of what you sold to a certain customer. So deduplicating your customers could help in that case. Now, there are several companies or organizations in the market who did some analysis on that. So for example, the first one on the error rate. So if you have a 1% error rate in your master data, so instead of 100% correct, there's 1% not correct, it would already double your costs. Now, a second one is on business initiatives. Gartner, they investigated that 40% of the business initiatives fail because of poor data quality. Now, we can help you with that. So we have this three-step approach. First step is a health check. That's phase 0, in which we can check together with you what's your health of your master data. Second one is helping you in getting clean. And then the phase 2 is staying clean. Now, let's start with this first step, helping you in getting to know how your data quality is. So we have this package of 80 predefined analytics on your master data. So predefined analytics on how your material master is doing, how your vendor master is doing, customer master, etc. So things like, how many duplicate vendors do I have? Do I have differences in prices between, in payment terms between my master data on purchasing level and on finance level? So there could be a difference in the system, and we think that's strange. These kind of analytics are what we think are quite general applicable. So we expect that about 80% of these checks you can use. But of course, you know our solution. You can also fine-tune those checks to your own needs. Now, I first want to show you a short demo on how such a check would look like. So now I will go back to the every angle solution. You've seen already quite some dashboards today. This will be another one. So we have this data quality control tower. And it shows you in one overview the status of your master data. So I made it big now. In the first column, you see the status of your materials. Now, this says that 96% of your materials is correct. And the way we did this analysis was checking of all those checks you just saw, the 80 checks. If one check fails on a material, then the full material is incorrect. So this 96% shows you how many of those materials are fully correct. Now, the rest for customers, the same, and also for vendors. Now, what you can do with this overview, at the bottom you see what are the issues. So, for example, wrong product hierarchy, wrong hierarchy material group, etc. And from here you can drill down to the details. So when I click on one of the details, I see the different checks that are done by every angle, and these fields are the ones we deliver as part of our solution. So you can quickly see for a certain material, how you are doing on those checks. And we see indeed also that this product hierarchy is incorrect. And in this case, we see that it is missing, so empty. So this now gives you a list of 2,500 incorrect materials. Now, how are you going to fix that? And I think you can ask someone to change them, fix them one by one. Now, we have a solution for that. And that's why we also have today Mickey. He is expert of Innowera, and he is very good at data cleaning. And he will now show how.
Thank you, Eric. Apart from cleaning the data, what I'm going to talk about a little bit is give you the introduction to the Innowera technology that we have. Innowera consists of a number of software, and one of the key one that we're going to spend time on is today the Excel software. But as you can see here, that we have a software that works with the mobile, with the SharePoint, with the browser, even a RPA solution that works through just a command prompt that you can create your robots and do something in SAP. I'll focus today primarily just, we have about 30 minutes to show you the Innowera technology, so I'm going to focus primarily on Excel technology and how it works. I'm going to actually show the live demo of the software, so I will probably take a couple slides here to give you a little background. One of the important aspects of Innowera is that it does not need any installation in your SAP system. You can download the software and it will start working with your credential that you have, the SAP credential. Right? We also done quite a bit of work. We have about 1,500 templates that does different things in SAP from all different modules. So we're going to go through that a little bit. I'll spend maybe a couple minutes just to give you a very high level of the problem statement here. This slide kind of explains on the top what is everyone wants, the data quality and the time to value and managing the cost of creating or fixing data. And at the bottom, what we see is typically what we have seen in large majority of our customer, that they have some kind of a process, LSMW, many of them may be using that, BDCs or some ABAP programs, some manual hands-on, right? So those are not a bad thing, but those are, like Ronnie said, right? These are the new generation thing. What is that the rest of the world is doing? And that's what we kind of bring to the table, that if you want to change your SAP data management and you want to do something different, what thousands of users, hundreds of customers have done, is that we introduce a four-pronged approach. One is that you need a technology that allows you to create and change the data very differently. In this case, we have a software called Process Runner. I'm going to go through the software live in a couple minutes from now, so you're going to see how it works, and it will answer a lot of your questions that you may have in your mind. If you've heard about this technology, never seen it, you're going to get a chance to look at it today. This allows you to change a single record, hundreds of records, create it, or change it, delete it, print it, whatever you want. Whatever you can do by hand, you can do with this software. You're going to take a look at it in a few minutes. Then we have a couple other technology that kind of goes and expands the use case of our flagship product, Process Runner. And we don't have enough time today, but you're interested, feel free to see me in a lobby there, or we can schedule some demo for kind of show you the whole suite of Innowera product. We're going to talk about the Process Runner, and in the second session today itself, we're going to also talk about a workflow solution that, believe it or not, runs in Excel and email, right? So we're going to talk about both. I'm going to show you both the demonstration. We have created quite a few what we call ready-to-run templates or sample. This just one slide kind of talks about Material Master, but we have in HR and EAM and SD. Solution works in all different SAP versions from ECC 5, 6, S4HANA, all different versions of Excel, right? It works, single solution works in all of them. Right, so we have hundreds of customers, many of them, of course, in Europe. About 40% of our customers in Europe. We are Texas-based, US-based company. Of course, we are part of the magnitude now, just like every angle. So I'm going to go through the process runner software now. I'm going to show it live, and this is my last slide before I show the application. This software kind of comes in two different roles, like a super user, someone who understands SAP, understands Excel and data layout. We call them a designer of the process. And there's an end user or run-only user. You simply press the button, of course, in Excel, and it does something in SAP based on what the designer designed it. So I'm going to show you both of them. I'm going to play the designer role, so you can see that how complex or simple, you make a call on your own, the software is. So you're going to see some simple cleaning use case, and I'll show some create use case as well, but I'm going to start with something very simple. How do you use the software process runner to clean the data? I have a use case, very, very simple use case that most of you probably know or heard of, the Material Master. And what I have is maybe a 50 Material Master, but it could be 5,000 or 500,000, not a problem. And I have a 2 columns or 2 data sets. I have a weight, gross, and a net weight, which is incorrect in SAP, and we figured it out what's wrong. And now what I have in Excel is a correct weight. So I need to take this data into SAP. So I have a couple of options, LSMW, BDC, by hand, or I'm going to show you how we can do it with the process runner software. So the process runner software is something that you install on your computer, whether it's a server or whether your desktop, Windows 7, 8, 10, doesn't matter. Just like SAP GUI, SAP GUI that you install, you don't have to change anything in the backend. You don't have to go and install anything in SAP. So it will work with your whatever version of SAP you have. And this is how it looks like when you start. So I'm playing a designer role. I'm going to design a process to change Material Master, right? So just the 2 fields in Material Master, I'm going to design it from scratch. But you can see that before I design, it shows me that about 1,600 templates on a cloud. So I can kind of use one of the templates if I want to, or I can even search on the template. For example, I can say assets, and it should bring up the templates with the assets name in it. If you like something, you can double click and start using that. Or we're going to create, in this case, a template from scratch from Material Master. We have 4 different technologies, 4 different ways to do something in SAP in a process run. I'm going to use the transaction technology. And the way it works, so as a designer, I'm going to build it. And the build process is where you can actually show process runner what you want to do in SAP. So it's going to learn from you. So I know that to change a Material Master, I need to go to transaction code MM02. As you can see on the left-hand side, I have a transaction, I have a business API, or BAPIs, I have a GUI scripting, I have a data extractor. So 4 different technology does the different functions, right? The transaction is very widely used. I'm going to go into the MM02, and I'm going to click on a start recording. Now, those who have used BDCs or SM35, LSMW, they kind of find some similarity here. You will see that what it does, right? This uses the SAP recorder technology, and we're going to go into and record MMO2. So when I say MMO2, it brings up SAP landscape. Whatever I have in SAP, it shows all my SAP system, my QA, my QBox, my Sandbox, my APO system, whatever I have. I can pick any of the SAP system. It supports a single sign-on, enterprise portal authentication, SNC, SSO1, SSO2, all kind of authentication into SAP. Also supports a traditional user ID and a password. So for this demonstration, I'm going to use this user, and I'm going to show process runner in SAP GUI, in SAP GUI, that what I really want to do in material master. So I'm going to pick one of the material from my spreadsheet. I can cut and paste it or simply type it. I know that the basic data is where my data is, so I can go in. And I'm looking at the 20 and a 10. I can cut and paste it or simply just come here and change the value. Now, at this point, as you notice, all I'm doing is doing something in SAP, and at this point, it's recording it. Now, the recording is not a screen recording. It's an API layer recording, so your screen changes, your GUI changes. It doesn't matter, right? So I'm going to go in and save it. When I save it, it comes back to the process runner. So I'm in a designer, and it shows me on the top is my SAP screens, and in the bottom, it actually created a one-line Excel file for me. Now, this one-line Excel data is not enough. I'm going to change it because I already have my Excel file. I'm going to say, don't worry. I'm going to give you my Excel file that I already have. So I point to that Excel file. It brings my data right here. Now, this Excel on the bottom and SAP on the top, they are connected by this mapping type, right? So this is where it makes a connection. It does an automatic connection. This is the most complex part of the software where you connect the Excel and SAP. You can, for example, if you don't have a data in Excel, you want to simply type something in, you can go and type it. For example, I want to type maybe a plant 1000, right? So I can type that value. I can also drag and drop between these two locations, between Excel and SAP. So if I drag and drop it, then it maps. So the mapping is the most complex part. It has a lot of different things inside. It has some transformation mechanism and all that. I'm not going to go through all the detail. Once the mapping is done, I'm ready to run this file at this point, right? So this is my input. This is my Excel file. I'm going to use a worksheet 1. I'm going to start at row number 2. First row is a header, and I'm going to stop at row number 5, just running 4 records. So I click on a run here, and of course I have to save it. So I will save the file first, and I log into SAP system. Now, there's no transport, no import, export. You simply pick any system that you want. I'm going to pick the same system, use the same credentials, same user ID and a password. If I'm authorized to run it, which I am on MMO2, then it will use that credential and run it under me. If I'm not, it's going to stop me right there, right? So it complies to all the SAP security that the user has. So I'm going to click OK. It's going to log in. As you can see that it comes back, gives you a live update, right? And it tells you what happened in SAP. So first one came back and said no changes, and second one got changed. Third one has a problem, so it logs the problem. Of course, it wasn't able to change it, and the last one got changed. So let's take a look at the last material in SAP real quick. So I'm expecting, let's see, MM03 display material. I'm going to go into the basic data view. And you can see that the 54 is in my Excel and 52. So that's what I see it. It also maintains the audit trail or change log or change history. You can see that it's probably a $sign here. But you see that this user changed the value. So it maintains a complete audit trail in SAP, right? So everyone's happy about that. Now, only problem is that I have one material which seems to be incorrect in Excel. I can go and fix Excel. I can come back to the process runner. On the left-hand side, it shows that it took about 1 second to make 4 changes, and one of them errored out. An error is a hyperlink. So I click on the error, confirm that I want to reprocess the error, and log in, and it just picks that one record and reprocess it. Right? So you can kind of very quickly find what's wrong and fix it. Now I'm ready to run all of them. So I simply say run from row number 6 to maybe a 10,000. And I can run in a single thread or multiple threads. If I have a lot of data, I can even do the multiple threads and run it faster. So I'm right now going to run in a single thread, click run. and log in again. And you can automatically log in as well. I'm showing you the login every time, but it doesn't have to be that way. As you can see, it updates live. It's any blank row, it skips that. Even though I said go to 10,000, it knows there's no data after 51, so it stops right there. Right? You can get all the log of what happened in SAP right in Excel. You can go and fix some of your data. Right? If something is wrong in Excel, you can go and fix it. And again, click on a hyperlink and reprocess it, and it will go and change those data. So this is how you design something. This was a very simple use case, MMO2, design something, run it yourself. I made the changes in probably 5-7 minutes, right, showing you how it works. So very, very simple use case. I'm going to show you a little bit more complex use cases so you can get some idea that what the software can do. So as a designer, once I design it, I have an option to export it to Excel or to even, believe it or not, to iOS. Right? I can run something from mobile devices or from the SharePoint and other. But we're going to, as a designer, I'm going to export it as Excel. Once I export it as an Excel file, then it becomes the script that we created is embedded inside Excel. So I'm going to switch to another computer. And I'm going to show you some other use cases. So this is Excel file. Looks like more like a form, right? In this case, I have a header information, and I also have a line item. So we're creating a sales order here. It also can do some lookups. For example, I can say, hey, show me the distribution channels. And then it will go in and pull the distribution channels from SAP and show me all those distribution channels. So it kind of has some lookup help. The lookup is dynamic, so based on some values that are entered in a different cell, the user can pick the correct value. And you can maintain the data in Excel. And this one, if I write from Excel with the Innowera plugin that you have to install in Excel, you can simply click on a run. And once you click on a run, again, directly from Excel, you log into your SAP system. And it will go and read this data, and it will create a sales order in SAP. This sales order has some long tags and a lot of other use cases here. So here we created one sales order, 8182. I can also click one button and say, display this document in SAP. So it brings that 8182 sales order directly. So you can manually go there or just click the button, and it shows you that we just created this sales order with 7 different lines. I also created some header long tags along with that. So this is a long tags in header that I had it in my Excel file. So this is a long text directly came in right into that. So you could create a different type of templates that does a different function. I have many different templates, but I'm going to show you a few useful ones. This one is a different use case. In this case, is a financial master data. As you can see in a column A or first 2 columns, I have some input record. What I want to do, and you see the 2 buttons. One button says extract. What it does, it logs in and extracts live from SAP and dumps right into Excel. So I have input data for corresponding input data. I extracted something from SAP, and let's say I need to fix all of them to this particular value, all the field status. I can change it and click the button right here, and it will go back into SAP and make the changes. So extract, and now analyze the data, make a change, and put it back in SAP, right? So in one chart, in a couple clicks. So if I click here and say, hey, show me what's in SAP, and it will bring that in here, and we see that this new value is already in there. And if I look at the change document, you're going to see that the field status was changed today by this user, right? So complete audit trail again. Right? So it's very easy, again, to build your template that can do whatever you want in SAP as long as you're authorized to do it. And in this case, as you can see that I'm just an end user. I did not design it. Maybe someone else in your organization will design a template and someone else will run it. Or you can go to our cloud and grab one of the templates from the cloud, right? So this is one of the use cases. One of the other interesting use cases that kind of goes with what Eric just pointed out, that I can take one of the dashboards or output of the dashboard. So this is one of the dashboard that I have, and then let's say that I have this is a vendor Incoterms which are incorrect. I can export this data out in Excel, right, from the every angle. Once I export it, I can build the mapping and load it back into SAP to correct some of the data. So I'm going to export this one so you can take a look at it. So I have this data from every angle dashboard exported here. I also have a similar file which works in my system. We have two different systems. So this is export of every angle dashboard, and these are Incoterms, are two different Incoterms, and this one column K is supposed to be the correct one, which I replicated in column M, and I can directly run it. It's going to run XK02 transaction, right, and change the vendor and update the Incoterms. So I'm going to run it into the same system that I've been using it. As you can see, that is running it. If there's any problem with the data or my correction request, it logs right there. And it says that, hey, you're trying to put something that SAP doesn't allow to, it's too long for SAP, or this is invalid, so that you cannot push the wrong data, right? If I go back in here again and click on, say, show me what's in SAP, it will bring that up. And you can see that, let's see, 1 second. Okay, I'm going to try to bring it now again. Okay, it's supposed to go to another view that is not. Okay, maybe it should. Okay, this is the terms of payment that is going into. And you can see that the old value and a new value. Right? So you can use one of the every angle dashboard output and build your template and upload it, right? So you can fix your data, you can clean your data. I have a couple more examples to show you. I'm just watching time, so just 1 second. All right. So this is one of the power of the tool that you're going to see in this example. What you see here, that I have a material master. I have all different views of the material master into Excel. And the second part of the demonstration, I'm going to actually show the workflow where you can collect this data, but presume that data is collected and everything is ready to go. I can go in and I have a number of options. So my options are I can create it, I can check for duplications, I can even extend it, right? So here I'm going to simply go in and create. I think there are probably 5 material masters right now. In this, it could be 500 or 5,000, doesn't matter, or just one. So I'm going to go and create a material master. So you can see that 687 and onwards materials are created. So let's take a look at one of those material in SAP real quick. And you can see that all the views are created. This material wasn't there. We just created this material, as you can see that right now. Right? So all these views are created, including classification view, which many of you know how complex it is. And you can see that it's currently in a plant 1000. So I extended, or I created in plant 1000 only. I can go back to my Excel file. I can change the plant here to 2000, for example, and make some changes to the Excel data if I want to. But right now, I'm just going to simply extend it. So I pick another process from the drop-down and click on Run. So now, it's going to pick those material number which were assigned on a creation, and it will extend those material to the next plant. So if I open another session from here, and let's go to the same material, and if I go to MRP view directly this time, you can see that now I have a 2000, right? So material extended to another plant. Right? Second tab in this Excel file does a different function. So here I have those material which we just created, and I can, again, download the characteristics, which is, again, a very complex object in SAP. So I can go and download it. So I have all the characteristics downloaded, and let's presume that I want to fix this. Right? So all this should be 20. I can go and change this to the 20, and then I can click on it, and they say update. So download characteristic, make a change in Excel, and upload it back into SAP in a few minutes. Right? So fairly complex object, right, into SAP. So if I go back into SAP, and if you look at maybe the same material, 687 is the first one, go to classification, pick the 0001, and then it's, of course, it's engineering, so it's a 20 in here. Each tab can do different functions, so you can decide as a designer, when this was designed, it was designed for Material Master Group, where they can do different things. Here, again, very complex object in a long text, so I'm going to go and extract the long text from SAP. And I can extract in all different languages, of course, this one right now in English only. So I can say, what is November 8? I'm just going to put some additional text, and I can decide to put it back into SAP. So extract long text, make some changes, and put it back. Right. So if you go back into, and this is a purchasing order long text. It could be any of the long text that we want. There's about 1,035 long text objects in SAP. You can get anything out and then make a change and put it back, all through standard function. We're not writing an ABAP. We're not writing anything special. Everything that I'm showing you is from standard SAP system. You have it today, whether you know it or not. And if you have authorization, you can do it. Right? It all depends on SAP authorization that you have in SAP. Right? So different tab can do different functions. Right? So I'm not going to go through all of that, but hopefully you got an idea. I want to show you one more thing, and then I will hand it back to Eric for the next topic. So another very interesting example is very widely used in our world is a journal entry, or JV, general voucher, month-end closing JVs. That's very, very highly used, very high volume, and very time sensitive. So in this example, I have a number of things: FB01, FBS1, FBB1, right? So any of the transactions I can do. You can see that I can even pick from drop-down. I can park, post, or save it. So I have various, of course, this is single document. It could be, 20 different documents in one Excel file. So another interesting thing that this example has is that I can decide whether I want to attach this Excel file itself to the document that I'm going to post in SAP. So I'm going to click Run. And log in. So it's supposed to run FB01, supposed to post the document. We're going to see the document number 49 ending on a screen. And now it's running a second process, as you can see. And what this second process does is actually takes that SAP document number and attaches this Excel file to SAP document. So let's take a look at what really happened. So put my cursor here and say, show me in SAP. It will bring that 49 ending document right now. That's something that we posted right now, right? And if I go to the attachment list, you will see that Excel file that we use as a permanent record uploaded as an audit trail inside SAP. Right? So auditors really find it very handy that how the heck this journal entry was created, and they have the source of the data. So all these type of features are there, and there are various different examples. Feel free to see me in the lobby, or we can kind of schedule something special if you want to. I do have a second part of the demonstration of a different product. I'm going to take a few minutes into that, but I'm going to bring Eric back. He wants to send a message and then talk about the second topic.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so we just saw the dashboards, and then on the other hand, the SAP system. Yeah, and there was a link missing, so that's the thing we showed in this demo to get data back to SAP. But that's for the get clean phase, to get your data clean. But now you might wonder, after that one time of cleaning, how can I make sure that my data stays clean? So now we go to the second demo.
We're trying to create a story so you don't sleep. It's afternoon, so getting clean is one use case. Staying clean, right? That's the biggest challenge. We have a technology within Innowera. We call it easy workflow, and what it does is it allows that Excel file that you have today to be part of the workflow, right? So I'll show you the real quick on how can you start the workflow in Excel, which is hard to believe, but I'm going to show you live, so you'll see it. You can start it from Excel, or you can even start it from Portal or through the email. You can start the workflow even through the RPA. If you want to use our RPA tool, you can use the workflow. And once you start the workflow, what it does, it creates an instance of your data in Excel. It sits on a server. The first product I showed you doesn't need a server. It just needs a desktop that you have. This product, easy workflow, if you ever think about it, then it's going to need a server. The Excel going to sit on a server, and then different people within the workflow which you define, and we give you quite a few of templates as well, which you define either in a serial or in a parallel. You can do something with the data, with SAP, with automatic runs or test runs in SAP, right? And then you finish your workflow. So I'm going to show you one of the use cases that I have here in Excel workflow. That's actually a create use case that I'm going to show you right now, which kind of takes a few minutes to end-to-end demonstrate the use case. So I'm going to pick that. So if you have the easy workflow system, and I'm going to turn it on, that if I had the easy workflow system, all it takes is to turn on that. So now I have my plugin shows my workflow options, and I can click Start Workflow in Excel itself. And what it does, it shows various templates on the left-hand side or Excel file on my easy workflow system and corresponding workflows out there for that particular template, right? So there's various workflow already defined in the system. I'm going to pick one that kind of takes a few minutes to complete end-to-end. This is creating a supplier or vendor. And if I bring this workflow or Visio right here, so you can see that it has a few steps. The first step is preparing the data. And then a second step has a little gear icon, which shows this automatic step. So once the data is prepared, it will check the data validity. And if data is bad, it's going to send it back to the preparer or requester. And then if data is good, it's going to go to the manager. A manager can approve via email. It doesn't have to be on a computer. It could be at the airport and approving it. And the routing of the workflow happens through the table. So depending on what's in Excel, it can go to the different manager or different group. And workflow continues, and eventually someone going to create in SAP, and then entire audit trail and data will be attached to the vendor that we create automatically. So let's run this workflow real quick. I'm going to create or start a new workflow. I'm just going to name it so we can find it quickly. And I'm going to say create or start. And what it does, it takes the Excel data as an initial input. And I'm going to open that. So you can see that this is a create supplier or vendor, right? So I'm going to just put it today's date, November 11th. So on the right-hand side, you can see that instruction for the end user, that what they need to do, right? You can even have a screenshots or manual here that how you complete your step. And you can enter more data here. You cannot create the vendor on this step because you're on a step 1. So if I show you the steps of the workflow, you can see that it has a number of steps. I'm on a very first step, and it's in progress. It also measures your SLA, or your lead time, etc. So I'm going to go and say approve or proceed to the next step. I can put some comment here. It shows me that it's going to be auto validate step. It's going to go to the second step, automatically run the checks. And as it runs the checks, we can get email. I set up a separate email client to show the demonstration here. But you can see that those who are part of the workflow get a little email that tells them that something is going on with the easy workflow and is checking the data in SAP. So it's kind of a bad job, but running the job on the server, on Easy Workflow server, it came back and says that some data is incorrect. You can also get a little notification if you want. You can mute that if you don't like it. But I can go back to every user of Easy Workflow has their inbox. I can go to my inbox and it shows me that this data came back. I can double click on that work item and it shows me that this is wrong. This is the problem in SAP. So it checks the data, it comes back to it, and looks like this is the field that has a problem. I can do the write data here. I can also do the supporting document in creating a vendor. At least in the United States, it takes a W-9 form. It's one of the tax form. So I can attach the vendor's tax form to my workflow as well, so this can eventually be attached and approved. So here I'm going to approve this. I corrected the data, I attached the document, and I'm going to put some note and approve it. So now it's going to go back to the validation step, and we can take a look at it here. That is going to go in. Let's take a look at it. It should be coming in. I can go to my inbox as well. And in my inbox, it shows me, if I look at my history, it shows me that this is a right click on it. And it shows me that second step is approved now. And it's in a third step. So if I go back to my inbox and refresh it, so you can see that it's on a step number 3, manager approval. Now manager is out of office. It has out of office functionality, so I'm a backup of that. And for this demonstration, everything comes to the one user as a virtue of out of office. You can also see the various emails in here that is sent out to the designated user. I can double click and work on a step number 3. Now you can see that its instructions a little bit different. It shows the step number 3 in here. I cannot change the data anymore. It's only display only mode. I cannot even, of course, create it either. So it cannot only view the data, and I can approve or reject. Now I have an option not to do from Excel. So I'm not going to do from Excel. I'm simply closing it out. And I get an email as well. In email, I have an Excel file where I can take a look at it. Presume this is a phone. I can open an Excel file. And I simply can click on this approve, and I can approve from email. Put some comments and send it back, right? So the email will be processed in Easy Workflow system. It will approve that step number 3, and it will go to the next step. And the person who sent the approval will also get a confirmation via email that is approved. Let's go back to inbox. And in inbox, it should be on a step number 4, as you can see that. And if I right click and show me the status, you can see that the third step was approved via email. And not only that, the comment that we typed in is also came in here. Right? So you can have the email integration built in. I open it. Now we are on the step number 4. Instruction tells me that I need to click this button. So I can go and click this button and then actually create a workflow. So again, this is what you saw earlier. Now the process runner technology is taking place, and then actually creating a workflow, a vendor in SAP. And this could be automated, so that vendor is created automatically. Here I created a vendor 136 ending in SAP. Let's take a look at this vendor real quick. As you can see that it has a name that we typed in the first step, and I'm just going to approve it. It does have a couple of steps. Even after creating a vendor, you can see that currently the attachment list is empty. There's nothing attached in SAP. Now, it does have a couple of steps. One of the steps is that it creates all kind of reports, like this is a Gantt chart that shows me that which process is taking the longest, so I can improve my process and timing and SLAs and all that. It also maintains very clear audit trail of who did what at what time, right? With all the what we call digital fingerprint. So it has all those comments, approvals, all the screenshots, even email approval is captured, and also the attachment that we were talking about. So it has an audit trail. and it attaches all this document into SAP. So if I go back to this vendor, the step automatically attach all those documents, including this W9 that we attached in the first step, Excel file that we use to create a vendor, and then a couple other reports are attached. So if I double click on it, it shows me, of course, so it shows me that W9 document as well, right? So this easy workflow system kind of allows you to do end-to-end workflow. You can define your workflow. It's an extremely powerful system. It has out of office. It has auto reminders, auto assignment. If someone doesn't work for 4 hours, it will assign to someone else. Everything stays outside of SAP. You work with SAP or non-SAP system. You can integrate multiple SAP system with this as well. So this is just a glimpses of easy workflow system. Right, feel free to ask any question to us via that application or see us. Thank you.